Hello, my friends. I hope this finds you very, very well. I am coming on today to talk about being your own barista at home. Guys, I just cannot get on board with going through a drive-through, whether it's Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or some of these specialty coffee shops, because if you add it up at the end of a week, you've spent more than enough to buy something you really, really would like to buy. If you're a clothes person, just think of all the outfits that you could buy, the jewelry, all the things you could do with that money that you're spending to have someone make your coffee. Now, I'm primarily going to be telling you today how I do my, for lack of a better term, specialty coffee, which mine is cold brew in the afternoon. In the mornings, everyone has their own way of fixing their morning coffee. I just brew mine in the regular drip coffee maker, so that's pretty simple. But I think what really draws a lot of us in is the aura of driving through in the afternoon when we're getting a little sluggish and maybe we're a little hungry, and then we see the sign and we want to drive through and get that cold brew or that iced coffee or that macchiato. It is alluring, but I'm going to share with you how I make what is, in my opinion, a coffee that is better than you would get in a drive-thru. I do want to preface by saying I try to do low sugar, but I'm not worried as much about fat. So I'll get to all of that, but sugar is definitely not what we want to be adding to our afternoon coffee. So I do have my tips. There's a little bit of sugar in what I typically do, but not much, and not nearly as much as what would be in a barista creation, or most of them, most of the popular ones. So I have my iced coffee right now, and I want to tell you what I have here. This is one of my typical iced coffees. So what I do, this is my go-to. I think I have tried every iced coffee, and I have fallen in love with and become a cold brew snob with this Stoke. And they are not paying me to do this. I'm not advertising for them. They have no idea who I am. The reason I love Stoke, it's super, I don't want to say inexpensive, but compared to some that you'll find on the top shelves of the cold brew section, I feel like it's at a great price point. You can also get this at Costco. You can probably get it at Sam's. You can get it at any grocery store, so it's readily available. You'll have several different versions of Stoke. There might be a purple, an orange, some might have some sugar. This is the one that I like. This is bold and smooth. What I like about this is it is bold and it's very smooth, and it doesn't have that sharp undertone or note that some cold brews will have. It's almost like, it's not the cereal note, but it's a sharp taste that I'm never able to mask with all of my fixings. This is just like a perfect foundation, because anything you add, you're going to be able to enjoy the flavor of it without the coffee overpowering it. Love, 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 love this cold brew. And it's the base for all of my iced lattes, coffees, whatever, at the end of the day or the middle of the day. I'm going to reference this, and I'm just going to show you a picture of it. Actually, I'll pan over here. Okay, here's my regular coffee maker. If you really do want to be like a genuine coffee house barista at home, having some sort of machine that will make an espresso shot, that's the key, because there's nothing that's going to mimic barista coffee more than an espresso shot, or your ability to have espresso shots. Cold brew is wonderful, but it doesn't have that espresso taste, just that richness and the froth. And this, I have had this for 5 years. This is probably my second one or third one. Love it. This is a Breville Creatista Plus, and I'll link to all the things I'm sharing. This is like a meringue white, so I had to get this, I believe, at Williams-Sonoma, because it's sort of a specialty finish. But it also has a steamer where any of the creamers, any of the milks, I just put them there. I actually put them in the cup. I just had it here, and it will give you foam. It will heat any milk that you need heated. But what will make a drink, whether it's cold brew, iced coffee, or whatever, is the shot of espresso, and there's an espresso setting. If you are making a cold drink with ice and you want to add an espresso, what I do is sometimes I will think ahead, and at night I will make usually a double shot, so I'll use 2 of these pods, and I'll make 2 espresso shots. and then I'll put them in the fridge, and then the next day they're there ready to go. But if I haven't thought ahead, if I were going to do this right now, I would do the espresso shot, and then I would drop a few ice cubes in it, and I would get it really cold, and then I would fill my glass with fresh ice. If you pour it directly in, it's going to melt some of your ice. So I hope that made sense, guys. Okay, so we've got our coffee situation. Now we're going to talk about the fixings, the things that will take plain coffee and espresso to the barista level. 99% of us, I feel like, want this to have at least some level of sweetness, but we don't really want all that sugar. And some of the creamers that we use might have a little bit. So here's what I have learned over all the years of making my coffees at home. You can get coffee syrups. In fact, let me show you. You can get all these types of coffee syrups. You can get sugar or sugar-free, but I have just found that the flavors to me just aren't that great, and I just hate pouring a bunch of this that I don't really know what's in it into my coffee. So I've found some alternatives. Every now and then I might use this, but not often. My secret weapon, and for the life of me, I do not know why you can't get this on grocery store shelves. Now, maybe where you live you can. You can get the powdered version anywhere. You've seen this before, Whole Earth. But this little liquid version, I have never seen it in stores, and I order this in bulk. I'll find where they have the best price, and I will link that below. But you have to order it like in a pack of 6 or 12 or whatever. I order the highest, and I usually double it. Number one, because when there's something I can't live without, I sort of hoard. Number two, I use this for not just sweetening drinks. This is nothing but stevia leaf and monk fruit. That's all. It tastes exactly like sugar syrup. And I'm a cook. I've cooked my whole life. I've actually made candy. I know what sugar syrup tastes like. It tastes like sugar. This tastes just like sugar. I have never found any other natural sweetener that didn't have some sort of like aftertaste or some off taste. That's just my opinion. So I will link to this. I put this in my Crystal Light Peach Tea mix, just a little bit, and it just takes it over the top. You can put it in sweet tea. I always travel with this. I use probably more than most people would. A little bitty squirt is all my husband needs. I usually end up just adding, tasting. It does not take much though. Okay, so we've talked about our coffees, the espresso and the cold brew, and we've talked about how to sweeten it without sugar or calories. Now we're gonna start dressing up our coffee drink. So I am a big proponent of understanding that what makes this so yummy, and you can't go without it and have the same effect, it's fat. Fat does two things, and we're talking milk fat. And if you're non-dairy, that's fine. But if you're not, and you're just, arbitrarily choosing which creamer or what type of additive to give your coffee richness, it's gonna be fat. Now, to me, nothing substitutes for half and half. That's why anytime you see a coffee bar, you're gonna see half and half. It does not take much. Fat does two things. It adds sort of a body. It thickens it somewhat. Instead of drinking something that's more watery, it adds some creaminess, but you just can't get without a little fat. So let's just look here at the half and half. And half and half, as we all know, is two simple things. It's real milk and cream. So 2 tablespoons of half and half, and I think I always keep these because you do not have to keep these refrigerated. You can carry them when you travel. These are mini moos. I think that's a tablespoon. 2 tablespoons is 40 calories, 3 grams of fat, 1 carb. One of these is going to make a big difference. Knowing that I'm saving on not having a sugary drink, sometimes will add 2. But you may choose to go the non-fat options. So I'm going to show you some of the flavors that I use and some of the alternatives to coffee syrup that I think make a fabulous coffee. And guys, this is so good right now. And before I sign off, I'm going to share with you, because I think it matters what you serve it in and the straw. I'll share all that before I sign off. So the creamers that are pre-made, I never get ones that have sugar. Natural Bliss Zero. This is cinnamon coffee cake. I put some of that in here with 1 mini moo. 1 tablespoon has 20 calories and 1.5 grams of fat. So I put like a tablespoon of this and a tablespoon of this. So I'm not getting much fat, but I'm getting the richness. And this has that cinnamon coffee cake flavor, so it's really good. And when I do the cinnamon flavor, I always add a little cinnamon on top. It really makes it special. And today, I'm out of I always keep real whipping cream in a can, always, but I was out. So I do have this, but I really like the whipping cream better. This is Nitro creamer, and it's made with non-fat milk and cream. And it's more liquidy, whereas if you have the whipping cream, it's gonna sit on top and have more of a fullness in your mouth. But this is yummy as well. I'm gonna add a little more cinnamon. So good, y'all. You can just get almost anything to make coffee good. There's so many new things. Anyway, yum. This zero added sugar caramel macchiato, it is excellent as well. So I'll usually do a tablespoon of this. It has 1.5 grams of fat. So I usually do a tablespoon of the creamer, only 20 calories in a tablespoon, and then a half and half. This is an oat milk creamer. Some of you I know are non-dairy. This is a brown sugar shaken espresso, and if you cannot tolerate dairy, I think this is probably one of the best. It's got a lot of flavor, and it is the Starbucks. So let me tell you what's in 1 tablespoon. You have 30 calories, 5 grams of carbs, 5 total sugars, and 1 gram of fat. So you do have 1 gram of fat in here. Now, anytime you do an oat milk of any kind, it's going to have carbs. It's typically going to have a little sugar because oats are a carb. But this is, in my opinion, probably one of the better options if you're dairy-free. 2 other things you might not typically think of. I love a German chocolate cake cold brew, or an almond joy cold brew, which is basically coconut and almond. And I'm happy to say that I have come up with one that is so yummy. I actually do it more than the cinnamon, but all you do is you take your cold brew, fill it almost to the top to add a little protein, and this is vanilla, but I have a chocolate version of this. It's Quest iced coffee, and it's coffee with some protein and flavor. There is a mocha Quest, so I'll add about 1/3 or 1/4 of the mocha Quest, so I'm getting a little chocolate and a little protein with my cold brew. And then here's the secret: coconut extract. I've tried so many coconut coffee syrups, and I have never found one that tastes to me like coconut. This is divine. I would start with 1/4 of a teaspoon, see if that's enough for you. If not, go up in 1/4 increments. I do about a teaspoon. I like a stronger coconut flavor, but you're gonna get, you've got a little chocolate, so you're gonna add your coconut. You've already got a little chocolate flavor from your protein, and I add just a little bit. I mean, a smidge of this, and it's very concentrated. I don't even add a tablespoon, but this is Hershey's Simply 5 syrup, and there's no high fructose corn syrup, which is horrible for you. So I probably do half of a tablespoon. So that would be 23 calories and 6 carbs, 5 sugars. You would double that if you go up to a tablespoon, but I don't think you need a tablespoon. So anyway, so that's how I make my afternoon iced coffee. It's so satisfying, and I'm gonna get to my cups. I'm going to link to, in the caption, some of my cups, and they are all glass. Some of them are gonna have the lids, and if you really wanna get big and fancy, I will link to some that have lids, and you can do a shaken espresso, and it really makes a difference. When you shake it, it really gets a body and just a perfection. I'm always in a hurry, so I'm usually just stirring with my big old straw. I love a glass straw. Some of mine are bent. Then I also have some, I guess they're plastic, but I like a straw that has plenty of height and doesn't get lost in the cup, and I just think everything tastes better in glass. So there you have it, my friends. This is how I make, for probably 1/4 of the price. I would say this is, when it's not on sale and it's on BOGO a lot at Publix, let's say this is $6 or $7. This will probably make 7 drinks. So for a week's worth of coffee, I'm probably spending less than $10. Whereas if I go through Starbucks or any barista, I will probably be almost, if not, depending upon the size, be paying that for 1 coffee and spending maybe $70 a week, as opposed to 7 to 10. So I hope that this has inspired you and made you think of ways that you can be your own barista at home. If you enjoy my content, I'm very grateful, and I hope you'll follow my channel. And as always, I love to hear from you, so leave comments and suggestions for any content that you would like for me to share in the future. So as always, until next time, you be blessed and stay savvy.